All right, boys and girls. Gear for today remains the same since we're still in August. Timeless open comb 68 gap stainless steel razor, scalloped top cap, that sort of thing. I like it a lot, and it's the I prefer the solid or the scalloped base plate, but this is the one that works really well with the Nacet at this age. The open comb is a more aggressive razor, very different from the solid bar or the scalloped versions of that base plate. A lot more aggressive feeling to me, and so hey, normally I wouldn't use it very much, but it's exactly what is letting me carry this Nacet on to very very long lengths. And the other gear, as usual in August here, B13 knot in a Dogwood and Briar Brushworks handle. Yesterday was 555, and so today is use number 556 on the Nacet. We are hoping to use, finally, the last bit of this chiseled face Midnight Stag. I left a little bit of the moisture in there yesterday in the hopes of finally using up the last bit of this soap. I thought it would be gone yesterday, but I was wrong. Oh yeah, let's put the blade in. I finally remembered it this time before I say, let me get my face wet. I finally remembered to change, to put the blade in while my hands are dry. Need to head over and make a posting on Badger and Blade. That's a forum. And it's a little restricted for some vendors, like you have to pay to be a vendor there. So I do prefer Reddit for most of my activity, but there's a lot of really good information over at Badger and Blade, and a lot of good guys. Many of the same ones that are on Reddit are over there as well. But they do have more restrictions, and sometimes if you say the wrong, if there's somebody who's liked there a lot, even if they maybe don't have such good business practices, or even if their products aren't that great, then you can be treated kind of poorly if you don't say anything but glowing stuff about certain products. All right, so the razor is in the blade, but they do have a thread over there called the Excalibur Club. And while, of course, my adventures here are on the daily subreddit, the threads, they have automated threads on the wet shaving subreddit that you can post your shave of the day on. And if you guys want to join in, you can do that too. You don't even have to post any comments. You can just post what you used, and that's all. And sometimes it's cool because somebody else will jump in and say, "Oh, I remember that soap from a year ago. That's pretty cool." Or, "Where'd you get that?" Or, "How did you like it?" And usually people don't, but sometimes people do. And it's a neat way to spark conversations. Over there on the wet shaving subreddit, you have the main thread. One of the things I like about it is the main thread is not clogged with lots of people posting stuff, because they saw that on Wicked Edge, which is another decent subreddit, but it's kind of like the Wild West. Tons of posts about Perazzo and Jaggers and Merkur razors and all that stuff, and they just, all of it's on the main thread, and so more valuable posts can be lost more easily over there. Whereas it's a little more restrictive over on wet shaving. And it feels restrictive at first, but then you start to appreciate it if you stay around, because then the main thread's not getting clogged up with smaller issues. The smaller issues go into a daily thread. Every day automatically, you've got a daily thread that pops up. You've got a shave of the day thread that pops up. I think there's one more that's a everyday kind of thing. And so if we just want to log your shave, you can paste it on there. There's no format requirement. There's a format that many of us kind of use, and people who use different web apps to put together, or mobile apps to put together their shaves will often use the format that is provided there. But you can just, I mean, shoot, you could even push a one-liner that said, used Barrister and Man Diamond today and had a great time. Hope you guys have a good day. I mean, you don't even have to put that. But that can be it. You know, it's total free form. You can add images that you might upload to Imgur, if that's how you pronounce that. I've never actually had to pronounce that. You can put, and then you put a link to it, and then usually you'll get a nice preview icon. So that if you want to join in over there, and then the daily questions threads are there as well, where you can pop in and say, my razor just broke and I think I might want to upgrade. My Merkur broke at the threading part, and so I think I might want to, you know, somebody might recommend the Game Changer or the Mamba. It's pretty cheap stainless steel, you know, razors that are worth their money. Or hey, I'm looking for a new fall scent. What does anybody recommend if I like woods and amber, you know, or something? And a lot of times people jump in, all manner of shaving things. And then on Friday, there's a free Friday, anything goes kind of talk. You can talk about your lawnmower. You can talk about your flower arranging hobby. You can post a recipe. You can, you know, it's free just to talk about anything at all. And it's nice. You can get to know folks. So let's get it going here. Brush has been soaking for long enough. That's great. So now I will get my face wet. Okay, can we load up all of the little remnants of soap that are in this container into the brush here? Let's kind of go old style with a bowl lather. Shake out a lot of the lather. This holds a lot. I said shake out lather. Water. Shake out a lot of the water. This brush holds a lot of water. Yeah, I can feel the weight. So let's see what happens. By shaking out the water, that will help it maybe not to bubble up quite as much. And what does bubble up is going to be slightly thicker. Okay, good. I did leave the moisture from yesterday's load in the tub sealed up in the hopes that that would help me to load all today, to easily pick up the soap. And it looks like it's working. I don't think I see any more. And this may be 2 days worth of lather right here, 2 shaves worth. Just a little bit more. And let's just let it go with that. And I got a little bit of kind of suds in there. I can always return back to that if I feel like it at the end of the shave. All right. Now this looks like a good bit of lather, so I'll bet I'm going to have a lot available to me here once we mix it all up. Use my little tilt down function. Oh, this is my soap cup. I could use that to kind of add water to my bowl instead of the sink. So I just recently posted a video on brush care and drying and a bunch of different related topics about brush fibers. Things like don't use conditioner on your brush, the different types of cleaning to do, how often, you know, how to remove those buildup from soap scum, lime deposits, if you have hard water, mineral deposits. What I do every day at the end of my shave to make sure that my brush is going to be less likely to develop mold and mildew on the interior. Things to think about when you're traveling with brushes. So feel free to check that out. I think I posted that yesterday. I do have a reference playlist that I added that to, that I put any kind of any of those kind of related videos that are not really me shaving, but me passing on info that I've learned. And I just want to thank all of those guys who've gone before me that I learned from, because that's where my shaving knowledge comes from, guys. It comes from reading lots of content out there, having conversations with shavers that have been more experienced than me. And of course, yeah, sure, I've developed some of my own individual ideas just from thousands of shaves. But as is often said in many different contexts, I do stand on the shoulders of the giants that have gone before me. Oh, and speaking of Reddit, there's another sub. I think it's Indian Wet Shavers or Wet Shaving India or something like that. Okie dokie cool is a frequent commenter on my channel, and I've enjoyed talking with him. And I think he is he posts many of his items over there at the Indian Wet Shavers. And so feel free to check that out if you're near or in that part of the nation, that part of the world. And that's going to be relevant, especially regarding products that are available in your part of the world. There's a whole different marketing setup for shaving over there. The blades that are popular here, may or may not be popular there, and vice versa, especially the blades. All right, I think we're just going to go with it. And yeah, I could probably squeeze 2 days out of this, but it's not too bad. It's not too wasteful. But I totally expected that to be enough soap for just one shave, right? So let's go to it. My face, let's go ahead and put a little bit more water on it. I've said this on my channel a few times, but not too many. I've got one friend who told me that he likes to not really saturate his stubble with water too much before the shave. And that, is kind of opposite. Look at all this lather I have. It is kind of opposite from much of the wisdom that many people talk about. But his reasoning is kind of sound. What's easier to chop down? A sapling that is firm, straight up, not going to move, or one that's just kind of flexing and moving around? The flexing one kind of, it may take your axe edge some, but then it kind of moves out of the way, whereas the rigid one, all of that energy in your cutting motion is going to be delivered in the cutting action. And so his belief is that by keeping his hairs almost on the dry side of things, that he's getting a better cutting slice than if his hairs are flopped over because they're wet. And if anybody wants to try playing around with that and not really getting your skin too wet before you shave, that sort of thing, let me know how it goes. All right. I mean, is it tugging right now? Not painful at all. I don't even know that I would call it tugging. It is so light that you could argue that some other word other than tuggy might more aptly describe it. First pass, reasonably slick, and a little bit of water splash. At one point, maybe 200 uses in, I don't remember, I started thinking, and I've said so a good many times on the channel, that when this blade dies, when this blade is no longer performing, I'll bet it does it not in becoming tuggy, but I'll bet it does it by losing efficiency. I'll bet it does it by making me take 6 or 7 passes to get a good shave. Now, if that happens, unless I can make them super quick passes, I don't think that's a practical amount. And the whole strategy behind this is what's reasonable. I need a reasonably close looking shave at the end of everything. It needs to be in a reasonable time, and it needs to be with reasonable comfort. And so as long as I stay within that reasonable fence, then I'm going to keep using the blade. And so I can get 5 passes done kind of quick, and so that's why I do contend that a 5-pass shave is not an unreasonable duration. But 7, I wonder. That may be time to hang it up. Or, in this case, time to switch sides, because I haven't flipped it over yet. Splash of water. Feel the beard, feel the slickness. Stubble is probably 90% removed after the 2 passes. Now, of course, with a sharper blade, it's about that easily after 1 pass. The last lather from the older white tub. I'll have to whip out. The handle got so slippery that it came out of my hands. And maybe it's fortuitous that I ended up having more lather than I need, because I rinsed off the outside of the brush because it did hit the floor, and my roommate here has a dog and those hairs just kind of get everywhere. So I rinsed off the outside, and now I'm going to refresh the brush. I think this will be the 3rd pass now. Sometimes I see those little clods about to fall, and I try to lean forward so they fall in the sink instead of on my shirt, like that. But I'm kind of having to look around the camera in the mirror there, and so sometimes I don't see it in time. I'll switch between watching the mirror and shaving via the camera's screen, which of course has a momentary delay. Comfy shave. Splash of water. Oh yeah, that's got a good close shave on my face. Clean off my shirt a little bit from all the suds. The other lathers that I like better which are most of the other artisans, you don't have to get them this kind of sloppy to get them hydrated properly. They maintain a little bit more creaminess, and so that makes them less messy. They will be lightly creamy while they have this much water in them, and so they stay on your brush and on your face and your razor a little easier than this one does. I could go drier with this one, but then I wouldn't enjoy the feel of the shave quite as much with the razor. It would just be slower and not as slick. So I tolerate a messy shirt. Maybe I should start shaving with a lather made from laundry detergent, and then I could just pop my shirts in the laundry and I wouldn't need to add any more detergent. I didn't even need to shave my cheeks. I just kind of did it out of habit. And there we go. Let's get a good rinse, and also I'll clean my gear. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I give you my first empty artisan shaving soap tub. The first one I've ever killed after years and years and years of shaving. It just comes from buying so much soap, and it's empty. So that's how long it takes. Well, this one, somebody bought it and used it for an Austere August a few years ago. It may have been Art Chewbacca who gave it to me, but he may have gotten it from somebody else. Don't know exactly how many shaves I had on it before I got it. Maybe just a month's worth. And I believe I have used it now. Maybe this is my third Austere August. Could it be my fourth using this one? Anyway, about that. And I've used it some during the year, I think, but not too bad. So finally, I've killed one. I have killed a couple of pucks of Williams Mug soap because I wanted to see how long one of those would last. That was many years ago. But in terms of the artisan soaps that come in these plastic tubs, this is my first one to kill. How about that? In a way, it's nice because I really enjoy the scent on this soap, and I definitely don't mind. What a great and manly and unique scent to be my first kill of the tub style soaps. So there we go. How about that? And I still had, even with rejuvenating my brush, I still probably have about 3 passes of lather in here, if not more. So we definitely used, had plenty enough soap to get the job done today. One of the things I might try in future shaves is adding water at a later time, maybe mixing up a drier lather so it kind of looks creamy, and then maybe either putting water on my face or sprinkling water on the brush, you know, just to kind of be separate, to have it not be integrated, and seeing if that gives me a lather experience that is different in some way. You know, not mixing the whole lather together, but at first, but leaving almost like you might make a recipe and you'll separate some of the like cornflakes, you know, and for the topping, or some of the cheese. Like you may have a potato soup and cheese is mixed in, but then you'll set aside some of the cheese for the topping, for when you put that casserole in the oven and bake it. Put that on the topping just to look nice and taste good. Well, let's use water like that. And sure, I'll use it in my lather, but let's maybe sprinkle some on the brush, see if I get something different in my shave feel. So there we go. Yeah, I did get a good rinse, so I can put on my Midnight Stag Splash. So the old tub is gone. but the old design is still living in the form of the splash for, that will probably go the rest of the month. Since I don't like menthol, I mean, I still have plenty on my hands, and I like to keep the scent alive by rubbing it on my forearms here. Why not? But this surely, well, I don't know, it's going down. I bet it'll last me till the end of the month. I do have a spare splash as well in case that goes down. But there we go. Yeah, something that jumps to mind, if you ever do feel like trying Midnight Stag, you can go to maggardrazors.com. I believe they still have a nice selection of the chiseled face scents for you to sample in terms of soap, and maybe the aftershave splash as well. And I guess it's possible they might have the cologne in some small samples if you want to try that. But I was going to say, because of that menthol smell, as I put on the fragrance, because of that menthol smell, I don't actually think that, at least right away, until that menthol kind of floats away, it doesn't give you a good idea about what the Stag smells like. And so the cologne, of course, is the most perfect method of detecting and apprehending what the original scent creator wanted to do with the scent. I think the soap is next best, and then because of the menthol, then the splash here would be last. So we've got all the Midnight Stag stuff done. Everything's cleaned up. I'm going to put another dot on my little blue index card, and that's number 556 for the Nacet, and almost to the halfway point of August. Looking forward to reading you guys' comments every day. I appreciate jumping in and saying hi, and I've gotten a lot of wisdom from you guys over the years as well, so thank you for that. Take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.